Today we have Williams 09 G8 in here. We just finished it up. This one had a problem with the previous shop's setup. What was going on with that, Dusty?
It had a single bolt cam that was a performance grind single bolt, and they left the DOD lifters in place. They didn't delete any of that stuff. So just not that doesn't work. It's just not how we do it.
And it failed after what, 1,000 miles or so?
How troublesome those lifters are. So we it had a broken valve spring on number 4 is what the concern was. That's what was causing his issue. So replaced that. Did a whole DOD delete, pulled the oil pan off, and cleaned the screen. There was some valve seal material in the pan where when the spring broke, it ripped the seal off and went God knows where. So we cleaned all that out, plugged the oil pressure relief in the pan, and did our whole DOD delete oil pump. Red hot cam BTR LS3 stage 2. VCM intake, did a Mighty Mouse catch can. He's got Thorley, Doug Thorley 1 3/4 headers on there. That's what it showed up with that, and a solo axle, or actually a whole solo system.
Yep, it's got the shorty mid muffler, LS7 mass airflow, and he's going to stay on 93. So we're interested to see how this car does compared to the other Red Hot. April's performed so well, and he has a damper he provided, I guess, underdrive.
He had a fluid damper we put on. We use our own SFI stuff, but the fluid damper's a nice piece, so he already had that. We did a 160 thermostat, just kind of some of the little.
Yep, shave the heads a little bit.
Yep, cut 35 off the heads, bump the compression up, stock head gaskets.
So that'll be interesting
should run well.
Yeah, it should be interesting. He's been a long time subscriber to our YouTube channel too, so that's been
Thanks,
nice
William.
to see. Yep. April, crank this girl up. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Much better than it was. It wasn't even running previously. So next we'll get it on the dyno after we button it back up completely. And we will get the numbers and some pulls there. Today's the day we get Will's G8 on the dyno. Very cold this morning. I think it's like 30 something. See about that real cold start. Oh yeah.
It has 44,000 miles. We gave you the combo earlier in the video, but we want to get on the dyno today. We're waiting on a ported intake from Rick Crawford, but we wanted to get it all together and just kind of see where we're at. It's good for data anytime you can back-to-back something anyway, but what we saw with this red hot cam Brian Tooley, which is the same as the LS3 version 2 stage 2, is more big power out of this thing. And it was a bit surprising because this car has the Doug Thorley 1 3/4 tri-wise, which are pretty restrictive. It necks everything down in the collector to almost 2 1/4, like really small neck, and then it's got the 2 1/2 solo all the way out the back to solo J's.
Stock intake,
ported throttle body, LS7 mass airflow.
and it's on 93.
It's on 93 octane. He doesn't have E85 where he's at. So 452 Back cut LS3 intake valves. We put a back cut angle on those and milled the heads 35. Other than that, no port work, nothing like that, and it rewarded us pretty well up top. The car takes off about 55 and just really pulls hard, makes really good power. 452 is really good, I think, considering we know. And again, this is SAE. This is SAE power numbers. I mean, to be consistent with some of the numbers, numbers are numbers, just a number. We all get that. But then you see somebody that posts a dyno sheet. If this was standard day today, it'd be 465.
Yep.
But we just try to stay consistent on SAE. And today was a very good day weather-wise. It's cool, low humidity, over 29.92 atmospheric pressure. So uncorrected numbers today would be 472. That's what the car's actually putting down right now today, because it's a pretty cool day here in North Carolina. So 53 degrees.
This is the second Red Hot BTR2 version 2 cam we've done. And the reason I say that is we're trying to get as much data on as we can. And the thing we're continuously seeing is how the power continues so good. And, you know, that's almost 7,000 RPM. And while it is on a decline, it's not dropping off like the older version 1 did. That was the default, that was the issue with the BTR2 original version, is it just made good torque, but above 6,000, it was already on the decline, and by 6,500, it was dropped off completely, just about.
And we could see that at the track. We did some, a bunch of track testing too. We don't just play on the dyno. We do go to the track with these things too, because that's what matters, where the rubber meets the road. But we were noticing that we were losing some mile an hour over some of the other setups. With ET close. But the mile an hour on the top of the track was down probably 4 or 5.
Yeah, because
compared
of
to some
that.
other ones, because the power was falling off up top. So we think we backed this data up. We had April's car in here. There's a video you can search for on April's car, which is now sold. Right. But it made 459, and it was on E85 with ported heads. Some of the earlier Rick Crawford heads. But it had
Debatably a better intake.
Yeah,
I mean a better headers.
Definitely, I would say better headers. But
And it had a stock intake as well, so
it had 140.
yeah, 49 I think when we sold it. Yeah,
9,000 miles on it. This one has 40,000 miles, so it's in better shape. We didn't do a valve job on these heads. They were, they were
pretty
in good shape. But like I said, we did back cut the intakes, and that fixed flow up a little bit.
Yeah, that shows this cam is a very good setup for all motor setups for sure. We haven't tried it on boost, whether it be supercharged, turbo, and we haven't sprayed one of these yet. But it is showing that it's a good cam, and that was one of the reasons why we're going over a little bit more on this one than normal, because this was our backup data for the April's car to make sure it wasn't a fluke kind of deal, and it's obviously not. This cam just makes big power.
Yeah, we know from testing that on an all-motor car, 85 is worth 2 to 3%.
Yep.
So the number difference, she did have ported heads, but that kind of goes to show a bit. And I'm not sure it's apples to apples, because I don't think we're getting the exhaust out the car as efficiently as April's was. So if you're not getting it out, it's not going to reflect how much better you can get it in, because it's going to back up in there. So I'm not sure it's apples to apples with the header setup we have, but I will say that if we put E85 on this car and picked up 2%,
it'd be almost
10 horsepower, pretty easy, 8 to 10.
Consistency on this cam, it shows a lot. So it shows it is making, this is a really good cam, and will probably be people that want a pretty extreme setup. Not extreme, but a pretty good setup for an all motor, or we're going to try boost later. This is going to be our go-to, I think. I would say it likes a little gear, and 3 to 3600 converter is really happy with it. It helps get out of the hole. Not that it doesn't make torque, but when you have this much cam and the drivability, a little converter makes the world of difference. So anyways, we may be back. I think he's going to potentially wait on an intake, so we could have another dyno session just to tune for the intake, and we'll see what kind of numbers we get with no changes, minus putting a ported RCR intake on it.
Yeah, and that picks up 5 to 10. I mean, this cam's really shining. It really looks like it's a heck of a stick.
Yep.